What's up, everyone, and welcome to this comparison review of this DC Collectibles Justice League figure and this McFarlane DC Multiverse Justice League figure of Green Lantern John Stewart. This DC Multiverse figure is the first Green Lantern figure to appear in the McFarlane line, and I thought I would review it alongside this similar figure from the DC Collectibles line. The front bottom of the package says Green Lantern, and the figure is clearly visible through the front window. The accessories are positioned off to the sides, and the peg base and trading card are positioned behind the figure. The back of the package features artwork of John Stewart from the Justice League Unlimited animated series, and the bottom features shots of the other characters who have figures in this wave. The side of the package says Green Lantern Justice League. The opposite side says Green Lantern, and we get a partial window. There's another partial window at the top of the package. And on the bottom of the package, we get product information. The other figure says DC Collectibles, and the figure is mostly visible through the front window. Unfortunately, this figure comes with no accessories. The back of the package says Justice League, and it features a product shot of Green Lantern. It also features smaller product shots of the other Justice League members who have figures in this particular collection. The side of the package features artwork of John Stewart from the Justice League animated series. The side of the package features a partial window. The bottom of the package features product information, and the top of the package says Justice League. And now let's bust open these packages and see what's inside. Let's have a look at the accessories of the McFarlane figure. And of course, first we get the DC logo peg base. The figure comes with this translucent green plastic headset. And this is really magnificent, although be careful, this does feel like something that could break. And we get this magnificently sculpted construct gun. Look at all of the detail on this. Once again, this translucent green plastic really works in terms of representing the idea of a hard light construct. My only criticism of the accessories is that I wish we would have gotten a personal power battery. The figure comes with a trading card, and this is the image that we saw on the back of the package. And there's a brief write-up of John Stewart. I'll put a close-up shot of this at the end of the video if you would like to read it. And here we see John Stewart and John Stewart free of their respective packages and ready to rumble. These figures are based on animated designs that don't translate perfectly into figure form. However, the Justice League animated series catapulted John's popularity to a new level, and I'm very happy to have plastic representation of John's characterization on that show. So let's have a closer look at the loose details now. Here's a look at the lower body of the McFarlane figure, and I like the green color choice for the boots. We get a smooth, glossy look for the black sections of the costume. One of the weaknesses of this figure is actually source material accuracy. Because the male characters on the show were so disproportionate, that translates into a figure that has balance issues as well as questions about the lower body's durability. Here's a look at the figure's torso, and the first thing that jumps out at me is that the Green Lantern symbol is sculpted. I certainly prefer this to a painted symbol, and this figure has a musculature that is very angular, and of course that is accurate to John's appearance on the Justice League Unlimited animated series. Here's a closer look at the arms. And these are very stylized. There's not a lot in the way of sculpting for muscle definition because, again, this is an animated design. My biggest criticism here is that the hands should be black because John wore black gloves on the show, and I don't ever remember him having bare hands at any point. But speaking of hands, let's have a closer look at the ring. McFarlane did an excellent job in this area. The size, the paint application, and the sculpting are all superb. However, it makes me wonder why so many rings on subsequent Green Lantern releases from this line didn't look nearly this good. Here's a look at the head sculpt, and this is based on John's look on Justice League Unlimited, which was a direct follow-up to Justice League. And John sported a bald head and a goatee during those seasons. I really appreciate the fine paint application on the eyes as well as the expression. Here's a look at the lower body of the DC Collectibles figure, and it has the same issue as the McFarlane figure in that it is much smaller than the upper body. And in this case, the feet are especially small. Here's a look at the figure's torso, and once again we get a sculpted Green Lantern chest symbol. This figure doesn't have as much sculpting as the other one. Of course, we know McFarlane likes to put their own spin on things. Also, this shade of green is a little more accurate to the green that was used on the show. Here's a look at the figure's arms, and although I do appreciate the sculpting on the gauntlets, these aren't done nearly as well as the arms on the McFarlane figure. The figure is slightly more accurate in that it has the black gloves, but the hands are very small, even when compared to the source material. Here's a closer look at the ring, and unfortunately it is subpar. The edges of the ring are sculpted, but there's no attempt at a Green Lantern symbol in the middle, and the paint application is also off. Here's a look at the head sculpt. Now remember, during the first 2 seasons of the Justice League series, John was clean shaven with closely cropped hair. I'm not a fan of the way the back of the head has been executed. I think they were trying to give him a fade, but it ended up looking like gray hair. And although the facial features are accurate, the color of the plastic has faded a little with time. Let's have a look at the articulation of the McFarlane figure. We get the midfoot hinges, ball joints at the ankles, double jointed knees. Again, be careful with the posing here. We have this flexible hip piece that allows for the figure to kick forward this far. The figure can also step back. We get this much of a spread, so that could have been a little better. There's rotation at the waist, upper body swiveling. There's rotation at the wrists, and they move backward and forward. The elbow joints allow the arms to be bent to this angle. There's also bicep swiveling. Mine's a little on the tight side. And we get these beautiful butterfly joints, and these really provide posing options for collectors. The side-to-side movement of the head is not great. That might be a QC issue with my figure, but I can get the figure to look up and down, and there is a substantial amount of head tilting. The DC Collectibles figure has hinges at the ankle joints, and they work quite well. There are also hinges at the knees. It's possible to get the figure into a running pose. The figure can kick this far forward. And we get this much of a split, which is actually a little better than the McFarlane figure. Unfortunately, there is no movement in the torso whatsoever. There are no joints. There's rotation at the wrists here, and the hands move backward and forward, so I do appreciate that. And it's possible to get the elbows to bend to this angle. There's pretty good movement in the shoulders. It's possible to do a 360 with the arms at the shoulder joints. The head sculpt moves easily from side to side, although there's only minimal movement outside of that. So I definitely think that the neck articulation could have been better with this figure. Also, the feet rotate at the top of the boots, and the elbows swivel on this figure as well. If you're thinking about adding one of these figures to your collection, the McFarlane figure still goes for around retail price, which is about $25. The DC Collectibles figure is more difficult to find. Recent sale prices that I've seen vary wildly. However, they seem to average out at about $35. If you decide to track down one or both of these figures, I certainly wish you happy hunting. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe. Also remember to catch me on the Emerald Echo podcast, which is part of Multiverse Musings, the vidcast, and that's available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back with more Green Lantern content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.